Are you tired of being behind on client projects, being scatterbrained, feeling like you're running in all directions and yet not really getting much done? Well, today I'm going to talk about 4 ways that you can improve your time management. Hey guys, Abby Johnson here with Matterhorn Business Development. Welcome back to our channel. Here at Matterhorn, we are business mentors focusing on ways to increase revenue and increase profitability for small business owners. Now, I'm talking to small business owners every single day, helping them work through different barriers and issues in their businesses. And something that has come up a lot in the last week with my clients is time management. So what I'm finding, especially in creative fields such as copywriting, graphic design, website design, industries or services where you're directly providing a service to a client, those seem to be the people who have the hardest time managing their time and managing their projects. So I want to talk to you about how you can improve your time management, whether you're one of those exact service providers I just said or not. These are some different ways you can address this issue. I also want to just say before I get into those 4 ways that you're going to need to find a methodology or a way of working that works for you. Everybody works differently, and what I'm talking about is just some different ways that may or may not work for you. You should try them all out and see what does work for you. The very first thing is having some sort of project management software. Now, there's a ton of these out on the market these days. My personal favorite is Asana. I've made a couple videos on this channel about Asana, but these softwares aren't just for people who have teams. If you have a team, then you have to have one of these systems. I'm telling you that. But even if you're a solopreneur or working on your own or just you and one other person, I highly suggest you still sign up for one of these programs. Again, I'm going to just reference Asana because that's my favorite, but you can do some research on other softwares if you'd like. So with Asana, what you can do is actually put in tasks in your to-do list in this system, and it will send you reminders and kind of keep you accountable for those tasks. What I really like about it too is I can actually assign tasks on a calendar, set a due date. So for me, I open up Asana. It's actually just in a tab in my browser at all times. I'm not even joking. And if I finish something and I'm not sure what I should work on next, I literally just go to Asana, look at what's on my to-do list for the day, and tackle the next most important item. And then by the end of the day, before I know it, I've gotten everything on my list done. The other really great thing about Asana is that you can set up recurring tasks. So for example, I have a recurring task to run payroll every week. Now you would think running payroll, which includes paying myself, would be so important that I wouldn't forget to do it. But sometimes I'm scatterbrained. I have a lot going on. Someone calls me in the middle of a task. I have a client call at this time and can't finish the task I'm on. So if it's not in Asana, it's not getting done from me. Like, even if it's something as important as paying myself, it has to go in Asana to remind me that I need to do that on this particular day. Now, some people do best with paper and writing things down physically and not putting it in a computer, and I totally understand that. So the next option I want to talk about is having some sort of calendar or planner in physical form. So an example of what I'm talking about here is you could get the tool notebook system. This is something we also have videos about on this channel. And this is great because it's a custom notebook and planner. So you get the shell, you buy your back and your cover, but then you can decide and customize what's inside. So you could buy specific papers that have to-do lists on them. They have calendar inserts so you can be managing your schedule and managing your tasks that way. And they have all kinds of other templates that you can insert in there. We'll link that down below so you can go check that out. This is what I recommend if you're going in physical form because it's so versatile. The shell will last you years, and just every year you get a new calendar or add papers. You can take papers out. It's a great system. So if you feel like you need a more physical form way of keeping track of your tasks, that's what I would recommend. And I would do the same thing I just said with Asana. Write down your to-do lists for every day. I know that's so simple and maybe you're already doing it, but the key is to write it down and actually follow it and check off those tasks. If you don't get a task done for the day, move it to the next day. Don't forget about it. So the next thing I want to talk about is calendar blocking. I'm not going to spend a ton of time here. I could do a whole video on calendar blocking, and there are tons of videos here on YouTube about calendar blocking. blocking. But basically, this is the idea that you are blocking out time on your calendar for certain tasks. So I highly recommend this for people who are maybe working on their own or people who are wearing a lot of different hats within the business. So for example, every Friday from 1 to 2 is finance time. This is your time to sit down, look at your bank account, pay bills, do your profit first transfers if you're following profit first like we do here at Matterhorn. Another example is for client work, just blocking out that time. Every day from 4 to 6, I only work on client tasks and nothing else can interrupt me from that. If you're using this method, it is really important to not go astray and get interrupted or try to start doing some other completely different task in your business. Stay on track and just follow the schedule. This works really well for some people and gives them the right amount of structure they need. For me, it's a little hard to follow this method because I'm doing one-on-one calls with clients and my schedule changes every week. I might have a call 1:30 at Tuesday this week, but not next week. So I can't just block out my entire month, so to speak, but I do block out time for administrative tasks, all of the back-end stuff that I do here at Matterhorn. The last thing I want to talk about really briefly is just client management if you're doing some sort of client work. I have a whole video on client management in Asana that will link for you. So I suggest you watch that video even if you don't use Asana because it can apply to other project management softwares or the physical calendar planner I was already talking about. But the basic idea is to block out days of time to give yourself time to do a client project. What I've seen repeatedly is people give a deadline to a client and then they go to do the work and it ends up taking longer than they think because they gave themselves such an exact amount of time to do it. So give yourself a little bit of leeway so that you aren't making your clients mad and not delivering when you said you would. And this way too, if you stretch something out over a couple of days, it gives you the space to step back when you need to. I know especially in the creative fields like copywriting, graphic design, and such, you can kind of get a creative block and then you're just staring at a blank screen for an hour and that's not productive and that's not good time management. If that happens, go work on one of your other clients who are also due in that same chunk of days. So if you want more on that, go watch the other video I made all about client management in Asana. So I'd love to hear more from you about how you manage your time. Do you do one of these methods I talked about, or do you do something else I didn't talk about? I'd love to hear it. Leave it in the comments below, and I'll see you next time.